you guys tell me what you think malnutrition is? Just shout out some ideas.
When a patient isn't getting the correct nutrients that they need to survive.
Okay. So, not. Correct. My writing's not very good, so I'm sorry. Try not getting correct nutrients, did you say?
Yeah.
Was there any more you said to that? Or was, no? Okay. What else?
Underweight.
Underweight, okay. Yeah.
Be overweight as well.
Put down overweight, yeah. It's tricky because three of these. They really use your brains today. Can you think back to being on placement on the wards? Or from other things? Things on TV or whatever? It doesn't have to be. No? No? Okay. It's tough, isn't it? 'Cause it's okay, this is what we found. It was the bacon. It's a bacon. A nice. Which said it's a state of nutrition in which deficiency, excess or imbalance of energy, protein, and other nutrients cause measurable adverse effects on body composition and function and clinical outcome. Okay. Right. So the effects of malnutrition. We've got impaired immune responses, reduced muscle strength and fatigue. Sorry, I meant to say impaired immune responses. Do you guys know what I mean by, like, if you get more prone to illness and stuff like that?
Your ability to fight off the thing.
Yeah. Reduced respiratory function and impaired thermoregulation. So that's like, you know, if you feel too hot, you feel too cold, and you don't quite react quite appropriately to your environment. Okay. Also got impaired wound healing and delayed recovery from illness, apathy, depression and self-neglect, increased risk of admission to hospital and length of stay. Okay. So we can see that we've got quite a few effects of malnutrition which all impact poorly on the patient, and it's important to bear not only in mind, not only does this actually affect the adverse effects of malnutrition affect patients, but also unfortunately increases costs in the NHS, which of course has wider implications on care delivery. Okay, so impact of malnutrition on patients' care. See, we've got this gentleman here who's not looking too well. Okay, so we've got higher mortality rates, longer hospital stay, slower turnover of patients, leading to less patients being treated in hospital, and also, as I said before, increased costs associated with care. Okay, so higher mortality rates and longer hospital stay is associated with the physiological consequences of being malnourished. Example, as we said, due to weakened immune systems, these patients are far more likely to contract healthcare-associated infections, for example, the most obvious would be like maybe the UTI, things like that, and take far longer to recover from them than would otherwise be the case. Okay, so increased cost is also particularly relevant here if we're thinking about the current economic climate and with costs having to be cut, so it has much broader than just on the patient as well. Okay, so the prevalence of malnutrition, it's found in more than 10% of the general population aged 53 or over. 10 to 60% of hospitalised patients can be malnourished depending upon medical conditions and age. There are pre-existing, factors which can lead to increased risk of malnutrition, and more than 95% of cases are found in the community. So how can we address malnutrition? Okay, some of the ones we've got here are by identifying those patients who are malnourished, intervening to support these patients, and monitoring progress of patients' nutritional status. Okay, can you think of any others that we could do? Or no? National Institute for Health and Clinical Excellence recommends screening for malnutrition in all inpatients on admission, all outpatients at their first appointment, all residents who are admitted to a care home, and those newly registered at GP surgeries, and again if they present with any clinical concerns. Okay. So identifying and monitoring malnourished patients. So we've got several tools available. So I'm not going to go through all of them because